started. We're going to start off with, hi, my name is Calli. I am the level 1 instructor. So I will be with you for the first 6 weeks of your time at Boss Lady before I hand you to the upper levels. I have been in the beauty industry for about 2.5 years now. I have my aesthetics license. I graduated from massage school, so I just have to finish taking my exams for that. Then I will have my massage therapist license. And then this year I'm getting my instructor license. So currently I am still working on getting that license. I just have to take my practical exam for it. But otherwise I am graduated. So I will be your point person for level 1. So if you have any questions about anything, any concerns about trying to figure out your homework or anything like that, you will come to me. In level 1, we only have classes on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And the earliest class you will have is at 10, and the latest one will end at 3. Later on tonight at 6 at the same Zoom link, I'm having another Q&A Zoom call in case you guys have any questions about anything or anything like that. So you guys are free to come and join if you would like to. Otherwise, if you have any questions about anything, that last email that I sent out this morning has my phone number on it, or you can email me through ClassReach. If it's not Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I suggest texting me or calling me. I'm really bad at checking my email on not Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So please, 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 if you're trying to get a hold of me, text or call me. And I will generally pick up unless it's past like 9 o'clock, then I'm probably not going to answer you. And I will answer you the next day. Does anybody have any questions so far about anything?
I do. Are we supposed to clock in? I couldn't find that link. Like to clock in?
Oh, I have you marked down for attendance, so I'm tracking your hours on Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that one.
All right.
You only have to clock in when you are in the facility.
Okay, cool.
I'm like an idiot. Please come in and be the best.
So today we are going over chapter 1, which is your opportunities and the history of aesthetics. Feel free at any time to, if you have any questions or anything, to either write it in the chat or you can unmute yourselves. But otherwise, keep it mute because otherwise all the background noises make it difficult for people to hear. And then, if at all possible, to turn your video screens on. I know some of you are at work, so if you could just turn it on real quick and then you can turn it off afterwards if you're at work. Otherwise, if you could keep your video screens on, that way I can mark you down for participation. So for this chapter, we are going to explain the career opportunities and the history of the aesthetics profession. Describe the career opportunities that are available to you as a licensed esthetician. List some type of already existing practices to help you kind of decide with your career path. Outline skincare practices from early cultures which have significantly impacted the aesthetics industry. And then summarize current and future states of the aesthetics industry. Some of this will change depending on what state you are in. In the state of Texas, this is the information that is pertinent to you. Some other states have a slight variation with theirs. Somebody's joining. Okay, so estheticians study and have a thorough understanding of their career opportunities as well as the history of aesthetics, because you can learn about the many diverse career opportunities that you have that you may not have actually thought about. Because most people, when they think of aesthetics, they're just like, oh yeah, those are the people that give you facials. But there's so many other job opportunities that you guys have that you're not even really aware of. And then it's good to have a historical perspective on where we have been to know, one, how far we come and where we actually get everything from. So it's not just that we're pulling things out of thin air. Because the materials used in early beauty preparations may have been instrumental in actually determining how the materials are used today, and then what materials we could use in the future, as well as how culture will shape our industry, specifically because we are the beauty industry. So aesthetics, also called aesthetics, is from the Greek word, which is akatheos, meaning perceptible to the senses. It is a branch of the anatomical science that deals with the overall health and well-being of the skin, and it is the largest organ of the human body, and one of the most instrumental ones because it protects everything else. As an esthetician, you will be providing preventative care for skin, offering treatments to keep the skin healthy as well as attractive, manufacture, sell, and apply cosmetics, and then detect skin problems that may require medical attention. You can pair this with other licenses. So if you were a dermatologist or a physician, you could pair your aesthetics license with it and prescribe medications and give diagnoses. As just an esthetician license, you cannot give prescriptions or diagnose anybody because that is outside your guys' scope of practice, but you can still significantly improve their health of their skin. So the first opportunity that you guys have is the one that basically everybody thinks of, is the salon or day spa esthetician. They are skincare specialists and consultants. They can work in full-time salons, skincare salons, or day spas. They can be independent businesses or national chains, work in hotels and department stores. Mainly, they will perform facials and facial massage, waxing, body treatments. Some use machines, providing makeup services. Some of the other jobs that will go along with that would be the laundry, confirming appointments, making up follow calls, recording services as well as products, and then actually selling services and products. So this is the main one that you think of and the main one that you will really see. A clinical esthetician involves integrating surgical procedures and aesthetic treatments. So you would just assist with the aesthetic treatments. So those ones would be in a more medical setting. So you may work in like outpatient clinics, dermatology clinics, medical spas, laser clinics, dental offices. Research and teaching hospitals will be another one that you could work in. So you'll provide patient education, marketing, buying and selling products, applying camouflage makeup while under the physician's supervision, performing advanced treatments. You may manage cosmetic surgery office or act as a patient care coordinator. You can pair it with a nursing license and as well as a registered RN nurse. So that will also be an opportunity for you guys to do as well. Waxing specialists or brow specialists. Obviously, you will be removing hair from the face or body with the use of threading, sugaring, and tweezing, but mainly using hard or soft wax. Brow specialists obviously specialize in doing brow waxing. Otherwise, you'll just do normal other waxing. They will be skilled in removing all face and body hair, answering the phones, performing infection control duties, and a minimum of 1 year of retail sales may be required to be a waxing specialist. Just because there's not a lot of products that you really sell along with waxing. So you would have to have that up a little bit. Makeup artists must develop a keen eye for color and color coordination. You can offer facials as well as facial massage. Makeup artists would be in salons, spas, department stores. They generally work for an hourly rate or a commission. They can also do like a combination of both. And then these ones can work for especially like event makeup, or they can do just everyday makeup, or just that special like weddings, quinceañeras, those types of events. A manufacturer's representative is responsible for selling products and training estheticians and other staff members on how to properly use those products, as well as how to sell them. They work for product companies, and they do a lot of traveling. So if you are into traveling, manufacturer's representatives is for you. You will call spas, salons, drugstores, department stores, specialty businesses to build up your clientele and increase product sales. You will give exhibitions on your products at trade shows and conventions. You will generally work with one specific product line, so like Dermalogica or something like that. One particular brand instead of being knowledgeable in all of them. That will just like PCA will be your brand. You know all of the products back and forth on PCA. And that is the one product that you will sell to other estheticians or businesses. Salon or salesperson or sales manager is exactly what you would think of. They are responsible for selling products within the salon or store. Generally, they also move up into like positions of management or ownership, just because there's not a lot that you can just do as just a salesperson. Cosmetic buyers are the other one that will have a lot of travel. They purchase products that were sold in the retail setting, and they work in department stores, salons, specialty businesses. They have to keep up with the latest products, being able to recognize and anticipate trends in skincare. They visit different markets and trade shows all across the country. Some even travel overseas. They do manufacturer showrooms and learn about potential products, keep records of purchases and sales, and estimate the amount of stock needed for a particular period of time for any given salon, franchise, whatever it is. Aesthetics writer or beauty editor writes blogs, articles, posts for magazines, newspapers, online magazines. They freelance or hold permanent positions at those newspapers. So they'll write articles about various trends in the beauty industry, research, anything like that will fall under the beauty editor. Any beauty topics, skincare trends, new research, new advancements in the industry will be written about by them. You can work in the travel industry, so you'll perform services on cruise ships or hotels, that type of thing, airports, some private airline companies, destination spas, and you'll basically work either as a general manager, cosmetic store manager, or an actual esthetician providing those services. Or you can be an educator and teach the theory and technical application of aesthetics. You can teach in public, vocational, or industrial and technical high schools, as well as colleges. With necessary certification, private cosmetology and aesthetic school are also an option as well. This one you will have to have more additional training to go along with it. Did you guys disappear again? Okay, now you're still here. Cool. I'm letting you guys know now, I live in the middle of nowhere and I have really crappy internet. So be forewarned, there may be dropped Zoom calls. I apologize in advance. There we go. So you will need to not only complete the instructor's program, but generally you will have to have, depending on your state, either 1 to 2 years in the industry before you can actually enter the instructor program. So that is also an option. Cosmetic chemistry and product development. These are for our more science heavy people. So these ones will create new products and develop new technologies for skincare. They'll work mainly for skincare product companies, take classes on cosmetic chemistry offered through various universities, as well as colleges. And they're a part of every phase of development of the ideal final product of whatever it is. You may actually attend trade shows and you have to stay up to date on the new ingredients and understand how the ingredients are beneficial and how they work together. So there's another chapter later on, I think it's chapter 6, one of those two, that is specifically about cosmetic ingredients. So you will learn more about that. That way you can see if you're even interested in going into this line of work. And then the other one would be the state licensor, inspector, or examiner. So they work in the government buildings and state board offices. This one will vary state to state on what the requirements are that you have to have before you can go into these areas. But they are the ones that will make the laws and regulations, as well as inspect different schools and businesses. So they are the ones that are going to go into your spa and tell you that you're getting fined because you did not do X, Y, and Z, or that they are the ones that are also going to be deciding if you get to your license or not. They are also the ones making any changes in the industry as a whole. These are the state licensor people. You have to have a really good eye for detail to be a state licensor. Along that same branch, you have a state board member. These ones are the ones that only focus on developing those laws for protecting the public and deciding on rules and issues. And all of them are your state board members. Oncology trained estheticians is another very specialized branch. They go along with the medical aesthetics that we were talking about earlier. So they specialize in anybody that has cancer. So these estheticians ease the discomfort of the damaged skin from chemotherapy, radiation, while trying to enhance the client's quality of life. So these ones will work mainly in, actually only in medical settings. So they can work in medical clinics, hospitals, private practices, but they will work specifically on cancer patients. And that one does take a more training is definitely needed for that one, just because of how sensitive those clients' bodies are. So you'll have to know how to modify different spa services for the safety of the client during all phases of their cancer treatment. But it will significantly improve that client's day-to-day life and actually help with their treatment, because your skin is what protects everything else. So if your skin is compromised, the rest of your body is more susceptible to illnesses and weaker, so they won't be able to fight off as many infections or other medical issues that they otherwise would have. So that is also an opportunity if you'd like to go into that one. Have any of you figured out roughly, like even before this lesson, where you wanted to go, or something that you're interested in looking into, or something like that for the aesthetics industry? Feel free to unmute yourselves or write in the chat bar.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Does laser hair removal fall in this?
Laser hair removal does. You do need a little bit of extra training to do the laser hair removal. And specifically for that one, I actually suggest you find where you want to work first and do their training. I do not suggest going to a laser institute to get your certificate.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And the reason that I say that is because there are so many different lasers that you're going to get that certificate, and then you're not going to be able to work on all the lasers, and you're going to have to go through training on whatever business you work at. So it's better just to be like, hey, do you have a training program I can go into for this? Or do you want me to get the laser license beforehand? And ask the business before you spend all that money, because some of those lasers that are at those institutes will not be the lasers that you will commonly work on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Has anybody else figured kind of where they want to work? Even if it's vaguely of, oh, I really like the idea for this.
I had a question. With this, I don't know the exact term, but are we able to do the body sculpturing or the wood sculpturing?
We are able to do body sculpting. That would be an extra
Course?
continuing education course. They're not that expensive. Well, depending on which one you do it from. But yes, you would be able to do that as well. You would just have to take a continuing education course to go along with your aesthetics license.
But we would have to have this license in order to do that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then for that one as well, depending on how you do the sculpting, like if you do cold sculpting, you can do that one without a physician. Some of the other sculpting methods you would have to do in a physician's office or underneath a physician. And then Jacqueline said, I would like to expand from my business offering facials, all waxing, lashes, brow tinting, etc. I currently do ombre powder brows. Interesting. I did not know that was a different thing. Very interesting. Learn new things. And then Amy says she wanted to be a waxing and makeup artist. Those are very, very good to pair together, specifically because whenever you get one of those services, you generally want the other one, especially the makeup ones. Your makeup applications will just go on so much nicer after you get waxed.
I was going to ask you, does the academy offer any continuing education type things?
We do have some continuing education classes. Some of them will be like for your chemical peels. Other ones will be like lash perming. We do teach that class as well. And it just depends on when Claire is able to offer those classes. But you'll be mainly doing those in level 2 and up is when you'll be able to take those courses, just because you have to have the basic foundations before doing those continuing education courses. And then just so you guys are aware, every 2 years, once you guys get your license, you have to complete 4 hours of continuing education. And that can be doing a continuing education course, doing a course at a college or something like that, as long as it has to do with skincare or your business or something like that. So that is required for you to renew your license, and that will be every 2 years after you get your license. And then one of those 4 hours will, due to 2018's revision, will be human trafficking. You have to take an hour course on human trafficking. But the other 3 hours can be on whatever interest you have in the beauty industry. And that's just to maintain your license. So there are a lot of different types of aesthetic practices. You can work in a franchised salon or spa. So these will be owned by individuals who pay a certain amount of money to have that company name. So think of it like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is a franchise. So an individual owns that store, but they all are Chick-fil-A's, and they follow Chick-fil-A rules. So they operate according to the specified business plan and set protocols, but a actual person just owns it, not just the business as a whole. So you still have national marketing campaigns, employee benefit packages, and all of that because you are attached to such a large franchise business. Important decisions will be size, location, decor, services, and those will be dictated by the parent company. Independently owned skincare clinics and day spas, obviously the owner has greater freedom and control of making decisions about the spa. You probably won't get as many benefits because it is a smaller business, but that does not mean that the income is inadequate in any way. It just doesn't have as many as the larger companies. This is a good fit for practitioners who prefer a more intimate setting and like to work closely with a smaller group of people. And then you'll have a greater opportunity to build those long-lasting relationships with that clientele as well. Then you have full-service day spas. They're fast-paced and always full of activity, and cater to a wide spectrum of beauty services. This one, you definitely have an opportunity to become a big part of a larger team or network just because of them offering every beauty aspect. So not only will you be working with estheticians, you'll be working with manicurists, hairstylists, lash specialists, waxing specialists, because it is a full service salon or day spa. Some of them will have massage therapists, some of them will have nutritionists, depending on how high-end your day spa is. Some of them will have physical trainers. They vary greatly depending on where your location is. Resort or destination spas, they're mainly associated with a hotel facility. If you like working with an ever constantly changing clientele, this is the place for you. This may include more corporate style benefits as well as more educational opportunities, just because the income is not solely based on the spa, it is based on the entire hotel or resort. And then your medical spa or wellness center are definitely more health focused, age management aspects of skincare, surgery, post-surgery. Skincare is where that will be found. So that was it for the career opportunities. Now we are on the history of aesthetics. So before I move on to the next part, does anybody have any questions on any other parts of the where you can work as an esthetician? Awesome. So aesthetics has been influenced by many different cultures, different time periods, have significantly changed the industry. So a lot of our practices are from earlier civilizations to ward off disease in order to live healthier and longer lives, and not just solely for beauty aspects. So ancient Egypt used cosmetic for personal beautification, religious ceremonies, and preparing the deceased for burials. So they used henna, which is a dye obtained from a monogret tree. It has a reddish brown color, and it is used as hair dye as well as temporary tattoos, as well as for body art and on fingernails. So that is what ancient Egypt contributed, as well as a lot of the kohl's and eyeliner stuff that you would commonly think of when you think of Egyptians. Ancient Greek or ancient Greece is mainly where our cosmetic comes from. So cosmetics and cosmetology come from the Greek word, I always pronounce this one wrong, komathetos, meaning skilled in the use of cosmetics. So they bathed in oil and dusted their bodies with fine sand to regulate their body temperature for sun exposure and sun protection. That's why all of the Greeks are very, like when you see any of their art, is very pale, not a lot of skin blemishes, is because they were very concerned about making sure that they were protected from the Greek sun. And they also used honey and olive oil for other environmental protection for their skin as well. Ancient Rome is famous for their bathhouses, and they are the ones that actually like made the bathhouses buildings. So steam therapy, body scrubs, massage, physical therapies were all available at those bathhouses. And bathing and grooming rituals, which included the rich oils and fragrances from flowers, such as like saffron, almonds, and other ingredients, are contributed from ancient Rome. Asia, so China and Japan mainly, geishas remove their body hair using techniques very similar to what we now call threading. They wrapped the string around the hair and then pulled it out to extract the hair, which is a very time-consuming process. We have now sped it up significantly. And then Japanese women use a type of paper called morgami, and that is used to blot oil from the skin to reduce its shine. So if you can think of like any of your makeup sponges, that was Japan. Chinese women mix rice with water as a toner, as well as turmeric to prevent wrinkles and skin discoloration. They are also responsible for many of our recipes for masks and creams using crushed pearls, ginger, ginseng, and a lot of other plants that date back thousands and thousands of years. So mainly our masks and all of that come from China. Africa, since ancient times, has a lot of remedies for grooming aids in the material found in their environment. So all of the roots and berries and clays that they always put on their faces and bodies have a lot of very healing benefits, as well as they often adorn themselves with colors to blend into their environment for hunting, which sounds very similar to camouflage makeup. So that is where that came from. So that is where all our ancient practices came from. But if you now look at the different cultures, also had a very significant impact on facials as well. So in the Middle Ages, healing, particularly with herbs, was a very large thing, especially from the church perspective, that we now use a lot in our skincare to help the skin heal better. Pale skin was a sign of wealth and status, so they tried to avoid as much sun exposure as they possibly could. And women wore colored makeup on their cheeks and lips, but not their eyes as much. Bathing was not really a regular daily routine, but they did use a lot of fragrant oils when they had the opportunity. The Renaissance era, women shaved their eyebrows and hairline because it made them look more intelligent, as a sign of more intelligence. And then fragrance and cosmetic were used. But highly colored lips, eyes, and cheeks were highly discouraged. So that one was mainly trying to get that natural beauty of just your skin. During the mid 1500s, through the reign of Elizabeth I, men and women used lead and arsenic face powder to adorn themselves, so they still tried to get that very pale look as well. In the age of extravagance, Marie Antoinette was one of the main focuses on skincare and beauty. So women of status bathed in strawberries and milk and used extravagant cosmetic preparations, such as scented face powder made from pulverized starch of various forms. So whether it was potato or flour or whatever was most common. Their lips and cheeks were often brightly colored in pink and orange shades by crushed geranium petals. So this is more where they got into more of the cosmetic makeup section. And then small silk patches were used to decorate the face and conceal blemishes. So you'd put it on your face and then put like a cream over it to secure the silk to your skin. In the Victorian age, modesty was the main value. So any makeup or showy clothing was discouraged unless you were in theater. This is mainly where the beauty mask came in though. They used honey, milk, eggs, oatmeal, fruits, vegetables to preserve their skin, to have healthier, more beautiful skin. And then Victorian women pinched their cheeks and bit their lips to induce natural color rather than using a lipstick or rouge, however you pronounce it. So that is all I have for you on the chapter 1. Do you guys have any questions about any of the early skincare practices, opportunities that you guys have as estheticians, the history of aesthetics, anything like that? Okay. Well, if you give me just like 5 minutes just to pull up some of the websites, I will be able to get you guys for your PSI chapter. So if you just give me, we'll take a 10-minute break. So we'll start back at 2 and we'll go over the introduction to your PSI, which is your licensing exam.